Hey! Who wants to play True American?
I'm in.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best jokes and bits that recur throughout the 7 seasons of New Girl.
Also, I like to sing to myself a lot. A lot.
Number 20, College Flashbacks. One of the most compelling and true-to-life aspects of New Girl is the way that the friend group was formed. While Jess and Cece come to the friendship through a Craigslist ad, Nick, Schmidt, and Winston met much earlier in life.
Who are you? Schmidt.
You freak me out, man.
This is cool. We got a good vibe, bro.
You're a super weird guy.
Winston and Nick's childhood antics are always a blast to see, but we'll always have a soft spot for Nick and Schmidt's college days.
But now that we're sitting here talking, would you mind having a discussion openly about the subject of intercourse?
Shoot.
Cool.
This quirky friendship has been charming from the start, and it's especially hilarious to see Nick being the one to give Schmidt advice for once. Jokes aside, these flashbacks prove that no matter what happens, Nick and Schmidt will always be by each other's side.
You're the only turtle I want. You're the turtle, man.
I knew I was the turtle.
Yeah, man, you're the turtle.
Number 19. Winston is bad at puzzles. Winston loves puzzles, but if there's one thing he's definitely not good at, it's also puzzles. In Season 3, we're introduced to Winston's Achilles heel as chaos unfurls in Apartment 4D.
Sometimes when you start puzzles, you get a little bit weird and, I don't know, intense. Spend a lot of time humming. Also spend a lot of time naked.
I'm gonna do you puzzle.
Schmidt is juggling two loves, Jess and Nick have disappeared to Mexico, and Winston is puzzling. Throughout the episode, Schmidt observes Winston's hobby with considerable concern, eventually snapping at his friend, who isn't placing the pieces in the right spots.
I've been working on this puzzle for quite some time now. You realize a lot of those puzzle pieces are upside down, right? It's just their cardboard color. Is that an almond that you have inserted into one of the pieces? Are you just eating them or are you using them as pieces?
He's not even placing them right side up for that matter. A few seasons later, we get a quick nod to Winston's favorite activity when Allie buys him a puzzle to show him colors. Wherever Winston is these days, we hope he's still puzzling.
Puzzling. Winston is about to do some puzzling. About to get into some puzzle troubling.
Number 18. Nick fixes things. Never fear, Mr. Fix-It is here. When something goes wrong in the apartment, which it does frequently, Nick is always there to find a solution.
Thank you, Nick.
All right. There we go. No problem.
Perfect. You did it. The plastic soda bottle is right where it's supposed to be. Back in the wall hole.
What? It's fixed.
Unfortunately, he isn't really equipped to fix anything, and most of his repairs cause more harm than anything else. These fixes typically involve bizarre methods such as using plastic bottles or sticking a broom down the sink.
Get out! It's fixed.
Whether it's because of his perpetual stubbornness or his frugalness, Nick is guaranteed to do something weird to the apartment in order to avoid hiring a professional. It isn't always his greatest trait, but we have to admire his commitment to being the repairman of Apartment 4D.
Oh my... Nick, please do not angry fix the sink.
I'm not angry fixing, I'm fixing!
Number 17. Tran rarely speaks. Is it possible to love a character that hardly ever speaks? Tran proves that it is. Believe it or not, this beloved character speaks less than 10 words in the entire 7-season run.
A huge baby.
Yeah. I am a huge baby.
Tran is first introduced when Nick meets him in a park and confides in him about his anger issues. Throughout the seasons, Tran remains a constant but silent presence in Nick's life.
I can't keep thinking of you as my magical best friend with no name. Joe, Tommy, Lewis, Tran. Is it Tran?
In fact, Nick makes many decisions based on his one-sided conversations with Tran. He also has a romance with Tran's granddaughter for a short time. While relationships may come and go, the bond between Nick and Tran is everlasting.
Did you ever think Jess was gonna want to marry me? You did? Oh, see, I didn't see that. I just feel like the luckiest guy in the whole world. It's a very sweet thing to say.
Number 16. The Landlord. If you have ever lived in an apartment building, chances are that you've encountered a weird landlord at some point. But we can guarantee you've never experienced anything like this one before. At first, the gang's landlord Remy is introduced as a grumpy and slightly threatening guy.
To be honest, I was expecting a lot worse, so just 4 people is fine, just paint over the sex wall and don't bother me anymore.
Things become very strange very quickly when Remy takes a liking to Jess and Nick. He propositions both of them, much to their shock.
You into this, Jess?
Yeah.
Say you're on.
No, turn this up. It's great.
Say it's over, it's over.
Okay, don't get nervous, Nick. It's just a regular conversation we're having, except I'm rubbing your back.
In fact, every time Remy comes around, he likes to voice his admiration for various members of the group. He may not be a central figure of the show, but his few appearances certainly do leave an impression.
I see. If you guys have been playing hard to get, you don't have to. I am totally ready to get mixed up in this choco vanilla shake.
Number 15, the Fredo kiss. Nick and Schmidt have an interesting relationship, to say the least. We all know that the most enduring bonds can form between people who aren't always alike.
We're just hanging out.
With my best friend.
Come on, Schmidt. You just Fredo kiss me?
That's true of besties Nick and Schmidt, who have entirely different personalities.
Do I have your blessing?
Do you have my blessing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you need my blessing, big guy. Just kind of do your thing.
I would like your blessing. You're my best friend. I want your blessing.
Schmidt, fine. You got my blessing.
This is obvious through the way they show each other affection. Nick isn't big on PDA, or any huge displays of affection for that matter, but Schmidt loves a good embrace, or as Nick likes to call it, a Fredo kiss like in The Godfather Part 2. This aggressive smooch happens more than once in the show, and is special to only Nick and Schmidt. These two are friendship goals until the end.
Stop Fredo kissing me, Schmidt.
Number 14, Jess singing.
Also, I like to sing to myself a lot. A lot.
The guys have no excuse for being surprised when Jess randomly bursts into song. She did warn them from the very beginning. Whenever she's feeling happy, or sad, or confused, or pretty much any time she feels any emotion ever, Jess belts out the perfect song for the occasion.
She's going out to find a rebound. Who's that girl? It's Jess.
When Russell and Uli are fighting in front of her, she knows the perfect song to diffuse the situation.
Uli's alright. Russell's alright. They just seem a little weird. Surrender. Surrender.
She sings Schmidt to sleep with a lullaby rendition of Genie in a Bottle. And she even sings on stage with Prince.
Don't you wanna fall in love tonight?
Number 13, Outside Dave. Who wouldn't love to have an eccentric man living outside their apartment building who frequently intervenes in their lives and even their home?
You're addicted to purses. I'm addicted to development fluid, I get it. This one's for meat, and this one's for shells.
You know what? Keep them. They're yours.
Okay, yeah, neither would we. Outside Dave is a character in every possible way. He makes at least one appearance in each season but the first, a constant in the lives of the friends for better or for worse.
Hey, Outside Dave, make yourself at home here on the couch and I'll get started on the sandwiches.
To the laboratory! Diversion! New urinal? I'm rich!
Over the years, he's involved in a number of hilarious if concerning antics, including sleeping on Jess's car and locking himself in the loft bathroom. Sure, he's not always a welcome presence, but at the end of the day, Outside Dave is just a guy who enjoys a 2% latte. How can you not love him?
I just want some sleep!
Babe, I'm gonna go get some coffee. Can I get you anything?
2% latte.
Number 12, Ferguson. There's no love like that between a man and his cat.
You want to split that pasta from last night? Winston and Ferguson about to split some pasta.
Winston comes to this realization when he gets to know a little feline named Ferguson. Originally, Ferguson Michael Jordan Bishop belonged to Winston's girlfriend Daisy. After learning of Daisy's infidelity, Winston comes up with a nefarious plot, but ultimately decides against it and instead opts to keep the cat for himself.
You know, I wanted this to be a thing, but I deserve better. And so does Ferguson. I'm keeping the cat.
From there, a beautiful and sometimes weird friendship begins. Winston is known to have a humorous, codependent relationship with Ferguson, toting him around and even setting him up on a kiddie date.
Or it's whatever Fatty wants. What do you want, Fatty?
Daddy wants to see your room.
That's awesome. Great news. You hear that, Ferguson? Yeah, y'all go play.
But at the end of the day, he truly loves his cat, and our hearts break when it's revealed that the feline friend has passed away in the final season. Number 11. Winston is colorblind. Imagine a world without color. Winston doesn't have to. Although for most of his life, he never knew what he was missing. Winston's colorblindness doesn't come into question until he and Schmidt accompany Jess to Mexico to save Nick from hotel security after trespassing.
Shoes are not brown, they're green. What the hell are you talking about, man?
Shoes are green.
You guys are idiots, all right? They're as brown as
What
money.
color is Kermit the Frog?
Brown. It's a brown frog. Winston, you're colorblind, dude. What? I'm not colorblind.
It doesn't matter.
Schmidt offers Winston's green shoes up as a bribe, and Winston protests, saying that he loves his brown shoes. It's only then that everyone realizes Winston is colorblind, which honestly makes the puzzle fiasco make a lot more sense.
You've been working on this puzzle for quite some time now. You realize a lot of those puzzle pieces are upside down, right? It's just they're cardboard color.
Years later, Allie gifts Winston corrective glasses which allow him to see color. To say that Winston's overwhelmed by his new sensory experience is a bit of an understatement. But hey, at least now he knows he hates blue.
I hate blue so much!
Calm down, baby. Okay.
Some more blue! Get them out!
Just calm down. Do you want me to find you something brown to look at? Would that be soothing?
I just think I just need to take it slow.
Number 10. Nick Cant Lie. Nick Miller is a man of, well, very few talents. Lying is not one of them. Nick has a very obvious tell whenever he tries to lie. His back turns into a slip and slide.
When I was 11, I once tried on my girl cousin's wool tights, and I didn't hate the way it felt!
The guys even call him Sweatback. In a cruel twist of fate, the gang's shenanigans, all too often, hinge on Nick's ability to lie. He broke immediately when he found out about Schmidt and Cece sleeping together.
You have a secret. You have a secret. Turn around.
You turn around.
Let me see your breath.
Just be cool about this.
Ew, gross.
Schmidt confided his secret in the wrong guy when he told Nick that he was cheating on Cece. And he looked like a waterfall when the gang tried to hide what they thought were drugs from the cop who came to the loft for Winston's home visit.
I've never seen someone sweat so much in my life. It looks like your body is crying. What are you hiding?
Distraction!
Number 9. Constant mispronunciation of common words.
Apparently, my business isn't as important as Frankie Muniz.
Schmidt usually has a pretty eloquent way with words, but there are a few he just can't say quite right. We were first introduced to this funny flaw in the first season's finale, when he talks to Jess about white-fanging Cece. She gets a good laugh about the way he says the word wolf.
Even if they're just a wolf.
A wolf?
A wolf.
A wolf.
Yeah, that's what I said, a wolf.
This joke would reappear when Schmidt talks about the movie Fury, or as he calls it, Furry.
You look like Brad Pitt on a tank. In that movie, Furry. Yeah. You ever see Furry?
Lucky for Schmidt, he's found a woman who loves him, silly flaws and all. Cece happily promises Schmidt in their vows that she's looking forward to a lifetime of mispronunciation of common words.
I look forward to a lifetime of joy, growth, and constant mispronunciation of common words.
Number 8. The Cece Winston Mess Around.
Classic Cece Winston mess around.
That's not a thing.
All right.
A term coined by Winston, it's the magical union that occurs when these characters pull a scheme at the expense of their friends. This odd pairing on the show has proven itself to be one of the best.
Let me ask you something, guys. Have you ever considered modeling? Now that would be a great way to share your beauty with the world.
Most of the others have specific connections or pasts that link them, but Cece and Winston are kind of the oddballs out. So when these two team up, it's always a fun ride.
A drunk baby with a phone in his mouth couldn't take a bad picture of you two.
I mean.
Whether it be convincing Schmidt and Coach that they're male models, or tricking Schmidt with a fake EDM song, whenever you see these two exchange a mischievous look, prepare yourself for another classic Winston-Cece mess around.
We got a song to write that's gonna give you the best damn oral you have ever had.
Check yourself.
A-U-R-A-L.
For your ears.
Yeah.
Noise.
Number 7. Thanksgiving Disasters.
Turkey! Colton, fire! Fire!
Most shows have yearly Christmas episodes, but this one also celebrates Thanksgiving. Every year, the gang tries to throw the perfect Thanksgiving, and disaster never fails to strike.
Just a little white meat looking for some gravy. That probably
probably wasn't very sexy. I shouldn't have said that.
To be fair though, their problem might be a flaw in concept. Only Schmidt could have possibly thought that a Thanksgiving Day singles party would be a good idea.
Bangsgiving! We'll be celebrating Bangsgiving!
We've gotten everything from finding a dead body to Jess almost dying herself. Of course, the unpredictability and chaotic nature of New Girl's Thanksgivings are what make them so beloved.
Oh my... Spit it out.
Number 6, Schmidt's first name.
Nice to meet you, I'm Schmidt.
I actually go by Schmidt around here.
There can only be one. You know the rules.
It's one thing that his friends call him by his last name, but even at his office, he's only ever referred to as Schmidt. The first time his name is even called into question is when his cousin comes to visit, and the two battle over who is the one true Schmidt.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I got it all day too.
Winston!
Why are you yelling at me?
I'll do this all day. I'll do it all day.
Thankfully, the show was merciful and didn't make us hold out until the end. A season 6 episode centered around the revelation of his first name, why it has never been spoken.
It is the name that I was called for most of my life, and I want my name back.
And most importantly, why he'll always be just Schmidt.
I love you so much, Winston.
Oh, God.
I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it!
Number 5, Nick's Moonwalk. Many people like to avoid uncomfortable situations, but nobody does avoidance quite as well as Nick Miller.
Now, he won't even talk to me, because I saw him this morning, and he just panic moonwalked away from me.
He what?
He does that sometimes.
It comes as no surprise to New Girl fans that Nick isn't great at confrontation. When things get tough, he's known to remove himself from the situation as quickly as humanly possible. Instead of running and hiding, Nick likes to add a little flair and do a moonwalk. We notably see Nick's habit after his first kiss with Jess, when he uses it to avoid talking to her about it. But even seasons later, he notably pulls this move again to evade Winston in the background check episode.
I'm gonna take off too.
What is going on out there?
What's going on out there?
No, I'm asking you what's going on. What's going on?
While we totally understand how it frustrates his friends, it is definitely hilarious to watch.
I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't, no. I wasn't doing anything. No.
Do not moonwalk away from me. Do not. You are not. You're doing it. Nick, you did it.
Number 4, Winston's pranks. Winston may be at his best when pulling off a classic CC Winston mess around, but when it comes to pranks, he's just no good.
Every prank you do turns out either too big.
What is this? Did you register me as a sex offender?
He either goes way too big or way too small.
How'd this blueberry get in here?
Woo! From leaving wood shavings near Schmidt's car to releasing a badger at Cece's wedding, there is no middle ground for Winston.
Winston is in the air ducts with a badger.
What?
But that doesn't stop him from constantly trying. He goes so far as to get married for a prank.
We found a same-day chapel, and then we got married as a prank.
Similar to Schmidt's previously mentioned vocabulary struggle, it's Winston's complete obliviousness to this flaw that makes it so funny.
I put a feather in your shoe.
Too small, dude. Way too small.
Number 3, Nick's zombie book.
I've done things. I wrote half a book about zombies.
Nick has been writing his zombie book for years. The fact that he hasn't finished it starts out as a staple of his underachieving personality, but it eventually develops into a hilarious and heartwarming character arc.
Nick, this is the worst thing I have ever read in my entire life.
Originally titled Z is for Zombie, it is the worst book ever, as proven by Winston's hilarious dramatic reading.
Whoa, what bit me in the face, Mike Jr. said to his dad, Mike Sr., who sucks.
Throughout the series, it later turns into the Pepperwood Chronicles, which becomes a young adult sensation. Who knew Nick could actually write? After years of watching Nick's self-doubt, it is great to see him finally get himself together and make something of his book.
The sun baked down on Pepperwood's back as he moved over to St. Charles streetcar.
Number 2, True American.
Hey. Who wants to play True American?
It's the game created by Nick Schmidt and Coach that's part drinking, part Candyland.
Russell, you're in the lava, man.
You gotta understand.
It's played multiple times throughout the show, but the rules are never really made clear.
1, 2, 3.
Indeed, it seems that there are different versions of True American every time the game is played. There can be teams, there are Clinton rules, and a First Ladies edition.
You're the vice president.
Joe Biden. It's happening here.
But the floor is always lava. Would a full list of comprehensive rules be interesting? Sure, but we're happy to keep things a little wild too.
Okay, the kitchen is Michelle's garden. The bathroom is Mary Todd Lincoln Sanitarium. And as always,
The floor is lava.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Douchebag jar.
Someone's personalized condoms just came in the mail.
hey, jar, $20.
The guys have an interesting way of suppressing Schmidt when his sleazier side gets the better of him.
Hey, Nick.
No! Jar, Schmidt, jar!
They have what's kind of like a swear jar, and he has to put money in it whenever he says or does something douchey. This is, hands down, the most commonly recurring joke of the show.
It's Baby Smooth.
This is LLS. Ladies love Schmidt.
What? What did you just say? Go put $1 in the jar right now.
There is even an entire episode centered around why Schmidt must put $50 in the jar.
$50 in the douchebag jar?
Absolutely,
man. Why so much?
It's also an essential part of Schmidt and Cece's story, as he references it when he proposes. Yep, he kept the $5 he put in it when he said he would marry her the first time they met.
Girl, I'm gonna marry you.
Jar.
Rounding off their story, he smashes it at their wedding. Which New Girl running gag do you love the best? Let us know in the comments.
I can do this all day! Yeah, I got it all day too!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.